Happy whatever day I upload this. Could be Tuesday, could be Sunday, could be a Wednesday. By the way, this is a 0.0 amount right now. Today we're going to be talking about the comics that I would suggest to anybody who has never read a comic. And I think a lot of that could be predicated a lot of the time on thinking that comics are pretty juvenile, or there are so many I have no place to start. I have no clue where to start. So I'm going to go with 4 or 5. We'll see how it feels. I'll go with 4 or 5 suggestions. Shout out to my beautiful wife for recording. Let's start with Maus by Art Spiegelman. If you've never read a comic before and you're wondering how deep can a comic really go, Maus, I would say, is one of the biggest examples of this. Art Spiegelman had his parents who survived the Holocaust, and he went and he interviewed his father, and he had a tape recorder, and every day he would go and ask him a little bit more about, okay, you're in the Holocaust. Who were the people that you interacted with? Who were the people that you met? The thing that interested me mostly about Art Spiegelman was his decision to do 1, black and white, but also 2, be anthropomorphic. So instead of us seeing little people who were depicted, we're seeing mice, we're seeing frogs, we're seeing dogs, we're seeing animals. And the appeal for animals and anthropomorphism is something that hits us deep. No wonder, like, if you think of I Am Legend and the dog dying, a lot of people feel more bummed about the dog dying than the humans. Same thing that's happening in Maus. Pretty awesome, collected in 2 volumes. Bone by Jeff Smith. I have tabs in it. I've said it before. Yes, Bone is that serious. We have 3 characters, which are Phony Bone, Bone Bone, and Smiley Bone. They live in Boneville. It feels like Disney when you first open it. It's very whimsical. It's really fun. It's another black and white comic. What starts off being okay, this feels very Disney, ends up being contrasted with a lot of fantasy. I mean, look how beautiful that black and white portion is there. Jeff Smith did something incredible. This is the all-in-one edition. I didn't want to get an all-in-one edition that had the big old, had an Eisner Award, which is a huge thing. Shout out Jeff Smith. But this is a story that just kept on diving into mythology. So you have the forests, and you have the locusts, and you have Locust King and dragons. You have these little creatures that are here. It's just so beautiful. Bone is one where it will look very kid-like on the surface level, and you might not touch it. But I say, honestly, as a 28-year-old man now, it really did impact me when I got it last year. Because I remember seeing this in Scholastic book fairs growing up. And my friend Eric read it, my friend Jay read it. I never read it. I read it as a 27-year-old man, and it hit. It was really awesome. Okay, let's maybe hit a superhero one. Shall we? Dare we? We dare. We shall. Let's go with Ultimate Spider-Man. So for those of us who are familiar with Spider-Man and the Spider-Man mythos, generally speaking, we have Spider-Man who was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he goes through a lot of loss, and he has an amazing rogues gallery of people like Doc Ock or, who else? Green Goblin or Scorpion or Shocker. Ultimate Spider-Man, Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley in this run, it ended up actually subverting a lot of the expectations for Spider-Man. But if you've never read a Spider-Man book, I think it's the perfect introduction because you are able to see all the villains, you're able to see all the heroes, you're able to see the characters like Gwen Stacy and MJ, and even the women and the teenagers, how they're written. It's not corny, okay? It's not teenagers who feel like it's written by adults and the adults don't know how teenagers talk. It feels like everybody has their own autonomy in the book. I'm pretty sure that's Flash Thompson there. We have so many different sagas that are going on. This is the omnibus. There are about 5 in this run. The second one is really hard to find. But if you're just trying to understand what makes Spider-Man tick, what has shaped Spider-Man, why he is the way that he is, Ultimate Spider-Man is the way that every issue will throw you something new. So I can't suggest that enough. Day Tripper. This is by Fabio Moon, Gabriel Ba. This follows a young man who is a journalist, and he's actually a writer for a lot of obituaries. So he's around death quite a bit. Now, where this book gets very fascinating to me, and by the way, scratch and sniff, smell that, people. That is some newspaper print, which I really think is awesome. It follows his life where each end of the chapter results in his death. So the same way that we can read a random obituary and it's just summarized in 1 paragraph. Imagine that, someone's entire life summarized in a paragraph. This is basically posing the question, what if this character would have died at this point of his life? So if he was 10 years old, what if he died? What if he was 50 years old? And he died at the end of that. What if he married this one woman versus what if he married another woman? It shows the inevitability of death. And in those questions, it just does it in an incredible way. Day Tripper, I really think is a 5 out of 5. and I always suggest it to people whenever they're saying, I kind of want to get into comics, what do I think? Even the homie Mati, I know he ended up getting a copy because he enjoyed it, and he doesn't read comics that often. So seriously, please check out Day Tripper. Oh, number five. Let me go with another superhero one. Let's go with Batman The Long Halloween.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
All right, I actually filmed an ending to this, or my wife Abby filmed an ending where I chose for the final one to be Batman The Long Halloween. I will do this in a future video because I thought of one that is much better. It's not superheroes, and it's not superheroes. It is a Ninja Turtle. We're talking about fandom. I grew up loving Power Rangers. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just as much, if not more, especially the 2003 cartoon. This right here is 2011. First off, this is the compendium. There's going to be 3 total compendiums that will come out for this. And it is the IDW TMNT in all of its glory. And all the pages are numbered, which I think is a really cool, awesome detail. We typically have the story, yes, 4 turtles who were affected by this ooze, and then the world starts to divulge into something different. In some iterations of TMNT, we have where they are like reincarnated, which is what is kind of happening here. In some of them, we have it where they, like, Master Splinter was watching his master train and do things, and he's literally a rat who was training in his cage, and then he ends up being mutated eventually. My point is, it's silly, but just even though it's silly and it has all the marks of it being turtles who are ninjas, it also has a lot of awesome themes that end up just tying up in the best way. So we have reincarnation, we have ninjas, we have aliens, all these different worlds, and we have normal humans like Casey and April, whose worlds collide naturally. Even just the initial read that I'm rereading right now and having, the first 10 issues I think are flawless, and then the story just continues on being something beautiful. Comic books are amazing, and I hope to never lose my zeal for how much I love them. I would love to hear your thoughts on, especially those who have got their friends into comics. What are the ones that you give them? Like, what is the comic that you'd say, you've never read it before, here's one for you? And if you, like me, have a bunch of different comics, make sure that you're not hoarding it for yourself. Take out your bone off of your shelf, hand it to a friend, hand it to your niece, your nephew, and make sure that we're sharing, because this is a hobby that is best displayed when we get to share it with each other. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time.